We don't want, we don't want to never end. I know again. You walking out, you coming back again. Listen, I wasn't even going to bother y'all. I was going to save this. I was going to save this because I asked y'all on the last live. I'm like, listen, y'all want me to talk about this Laura Govan situation? Y'all was like, yeah, Deej, get to it, but get to it another day in another way. I was like, okay, but I don't know. I just felt like y'all needed this. I just felt like y'all needed this, and like I said, no pressure. The heal up, will up, bring it back, come rewind. I just felt like since I already had the notes, since I was already lit, I'm like, listen, I might as well record it tonight. Come on, put on y'all next season. That's what I gotta do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Operation Hill One Chart channel where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot topics. Now, we are here. First of all, let me thank you guys. 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 I truly appreciate you tuning into the last live and giving all your lovely feedback and going in and letting me know about all the hot topics and us being able to vibe and chill. I love it at 6. And I definitely want to make that a permanent thing. So thank you. Thank you for my folks who hit me with the super chat. Shout out my boo Pookie. Shout out Miss Carlene. Last live conversation was very entertaining. Tonight we are here to discuss the Laura Govan and the Carlos King interview. All righty, and I watched it last night. I was very, very, very entertained. Very entertained, right? And because of that, I said, you know what? I need to go live and we need to discuss this interview because I felt like there was some nuggets and some ducats that she threw out there that not only as a reality TV content consumer, but just as a woman, this needs to be discussed. All right, so the interview started off and she basically was giving some background information. If you guys don't know who Laura Govan is, she is the sister of Gloria Govan. She's also the baby mama of what is his name? And he has a freaking, I think he has a podcast now or something like that. What is his name? I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Oh, Gilbert Arenas. His name is Gilbert Arenas. I'm not here for him from what I've seen. Thank you, Pookie. Is Gilbert Arenas. From what I've seen, the little snippets, like I remember one time he was talking about social tennis. Well, I'm just not here for Gilbert. But anyway, Gilbert Arenas is Laura Govan's baby father, right? They have, I think, 3 children together, 4 children together, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, I know Laura because Laura is from Basketball Wives. I told you guys I should probably have a PhD in reality TV, especially VH1, because I was on reality TV VH1 when it dropped from Love and Hip Hop, and I stuck around ever since. So I've been here for every facet of the Basketball Wives era, except for Orlando. I didn't really tune into them, and every facet of the Love and Hip Hop era, right? So if you talking Miami, you talking LA, you talking New York, I was here, I was with it, I was down, right? So I know Laura from that, right? When she was on Basketball Wives, I think because she was on Basketball Wives LA, I think when it dropped, it probably was like 2012, 2013. I love Laura, but I didn't hate her. But as years went on and I seen her in other capacities, I was like, okay, Laura, cool. Anyway, she returned to Basketball Wives this season. So, Olinda is here. Olinda, you missed the last live. You would have loved that one. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm a little sad you missed the last live because that one was so much more interactive. This one is like, I just did it right now. And also, it has some topics you would have loved. So I'm sad you missed that one, Olinda. You have to go check it out. But I'm happy you here. And thank you for the super chat. I just don't know how much you want to know about what I'm talking about, but I'm going to still run it. Anyway, Laura was back on Basketball Wives this season that just passed, right? And they're just trying to pump some life into Basketball Wives because really and truly it's on they're trying to resuscitate it because it is really on life support. So they're trying every no worries, Olinda, no worries. I know you had things to do. I just know you would have loved that one because it was juicy. But yeah, they're trying to resuscitate Basketball Wives and really and truly, I don't see it happening. But listen, whatever, give it a try. I can't be mad. So, in an effort to do so, because Laura, your ass ain't low, She went on Reality with the King. Now, her and Carlos King, which remember he's the reality TV king. She went and did an interview with him. Oh, Linda and Pookie are battling. Pookie has now sent me a super chat. Secrets. Okay, okay. I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited. So, yes, so she went on Reality with the King to discuss her whole life, which they do on Reality with the King, and also her comeback to reality TV. So let's do it. Let's run this whole thing back about what happened on the interview. So it opened up with Laura giving basically her life story from when she was younger. She said she's from Oakland. She has 8 brothers and sisters. She's the 7th child. Parents have been married for 51 years. She is the 7th child. Then behind her is Gloria and a younger brother. Basically, from what she said, her parents were successful. Oh, Linda laughed and she said, Pookie trying to compete with me? Okay, it's on. So basically, what she said was that her parents were working parents and, they did what they had to do. But because she was the 7th, she basically took care of the last two, what I'm saying, which was Gloria and a little brother. Right. So then Carlos said, okay, well, now since you opened the door about family, let's talk about you and Gloria. Right. And this whole part of the conversation, it went 2 ways for me, right? It went one way in it being weird, the way she was describing it, but then the other way that I can understand was very relatable for me, right? So when Carlos asked her, he was like, well, what's up with you and Gloria? How are you guys? And she was like, we're sisters. So he was like, okay, I know that by blood, genetically you are, but what else is going on? So she was like, nothing. Nothing. We're sisters. I love her. What she did point out is she said our children are incredibly close. Our children are incredibly close, and I'm a good ass aunt, and I love my nieces and nephews, and she's a good ass aunt, and she loves my children. But when it comes down to Gloria and I, we're sisters. So that right there was an indication of we're not friends, we're barely associates. We're sisters. That's what I got from that. So of course, Carlos ain't no fool. He got the same. He was like, so is there something wrong? So she was like, listen, something happened. A family matter occurred. She didn't want to go into details. She said it happened about 20 years ago and it made their relationship estranged. She was like, and according to Laura, she basically was saying we could never go back to how close we used to be because that situation was very intense. And she basically was saying like the situation she feels is if I picked it up right, is pretty much Gloria's fault. And she's just not a person that can take accountability. And because of that, she's annoyed because she feels like, I'm your sister. We love each other. We went through something. Own your shit, right? And she was like, so at the moment, since she can't take accountability and I'm done with trying to get her to see my point, we maneuver and operate as sisters, blood relatives. But if you ask me anything else regarding Gloria, that's what we do, right? So I got that part. And let me pause that part and say why it's relatable. Because I have some family members where it's the same. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean I don't care about you. But if you're asking me, do I call and tell you all my plans or what's going on in my life on a day-to-day basis? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not there. We're family and I love you, right? But then she threw me for a loop because she was like, although it's all of that, we're currently working on a spin-off show. And if anybody says something about my sister, I fucked them up. And you can talk about my sister. Like she basically was advocating for her sister, but also letting you know I can advocate for her and still not be that close to her. Totally relatable to me. Totally relatable to me. So I got that. I was like, okay, she's basically sharing that we were raised to love and honor one another, but outside of what we were taught to do. My general feeling is I don't fucking like you. You did some bullshit and I'm off your ass. Got it. Okay, Laura, I can understand and I respect that, right? Laura gave me throughout the entirety of this interview that she was, I can't say if she is now, but she definitely at some point was in therapy. She definitely at some point was in therapy because Laura gave me incredibly smart, and I believe in therapy. She learned to be very self-aware. But Laura also gave me a tad bit of nut. I'm sorry to say no disrespect, but some of her reactions to things, even when she's aware of them, that doesn't make them still not crazy. And she gives me like, she's She's a tad bit nutty. Another thing that she said about Gloria is that the only reason that she is continuing to maintain the relationship between Laura and Gloria is because of their parents. They would be heartbroken to know that they have no relationship, but really and truly, if they were not alive, she would not be engaging with. And I was like, wow, if nothing else, I can engage with my family members. I can do that. That doesn't bother me or hurt me, right? Like I said, I could understand not wanting to hang with them every day or tell them your deep dark secrets because of what y'all went through, fine. But basically saying I'm only engaging on the strength of, that was a lie. So I was like, okay, well, hopefully them sisters get better, because I don't know, that's a crazy situation to be in with your sibling, but it happens. Anywho, so Carlos brings up the Shaq rumor. Right, so Carlos was trying to be politically correct. Ain't nothing wrong with that, because Shaq got a whole bunch of fucking money. So Carlos looking like Shaq ain't gonna get my whole production shut down. Love and Marriage Huntsville, get my deal with Oprah dead and all that. No, so I'm gonna be politically correct. So when he brought it up, he was like an athlete, like he's trying not to say no names. But Laura was like, you ain't gotta tiptoe around it. You're talking about Shaquille, and what's the deal with that, right? What I don't like about Laura and her response to this, and she did the same thing on Basketball Wives. Her whole thing is like, well, I'm gonna sit down with well, first of all, the question that Carlos asked was that he said, well, there's a rumor that technically Gloria is who slept with Shaq. And because you love your sister so much, when they accuse you, instead of you clearing it up and putting it on your sister, who it really was, you just basically let folks believe it was you. Right? So she was like, well, I'm just going to be clear and let you guys know. Um, I'm not confirming or denying or even having this dialogue with anybody outside of Shawnee. Right. I want to sit down and talk to Shawnee about what took place with her ex-husband at the time when he was her husband. Right. And again, that's the response she gave on Basketball Wives this season when some things came up. And then she was like, and then afterwards, and she was like, and then the reason I want to speak to her, because after I share with her, so on and so forth, I also want to give some of Shawnee. I also want to give Shawnee some of Shawnee. Basically, like, I want to show you what you do and who you are and the way you act. Right? So Carlos is looking like, why the fuck are we talking all these riddles and going around in circles? But okay, girl, what does that mean? So Laura was basically saying that when she was on Basketball Wives this season, she thought, she was under the impression that she felt ambushed. She felt ambushed, and she was under the impression that her return to Basketball Wives was because Shawnee reached out to her and was like, hey, can you clarify with the whole world that I'm not the person that you're not on I'm not the person I'm not the reason behind why you're not on Basketball Wives. So she was like, okay, definitely I can do so. I'll come on set. So Laura basically said the reason why she agreed is because she assumed that her and Shawnee would have a face-to-face conversation, because she was like, in all fairness to Shawnee, she didn't know for sure from Shawnee that she didn't want her on the show, but producers always said, like, that's the reason you're not on here, because of Shawnee. So she assumed when Shawnee reached out to her, it would be like, okay, so we can talk and have the dialogue, and then you can say, I'm not holding you back, or whatever the case may be, right? She was like, what ended up happening was you throw all your minions in the group, Evelyn per se, and now they're in there reading excerpts from your book and being shady to me. And I'm feeling like, what's this all about, when I thought I was here to talk to Shawnee. So she was like, I kept thinking I was going to talk to Shawnee, and Shawnee never showed up. Right. And she was like, and then Carlos asked if she was blocking her, and she was like, no, 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 no. That was only according to producers. I can't clarify if she really was. Right. And then she said something that I didn't know. She was like, Shawnee did not start Basketball Wives LA. Me and Gloria started that. I was like, okay. She was like, but at the time I was going through too much and I couldn't keep up with it. And my sister actually tried, but it ended up falling by the wayside. And then Shawnee ended up picking it up. But this was not Shawnee's baby. Shawnee's baby was, I think, Basketball Wives Miami or whatever, Orlando, whatever the fuck that bullshit was. Anyway, she also said that she heard his rumors that Gilbert Arenas and his new fiance will be on the show. And she's also hearing that Shawnee is the person trying to get them on the show. And them being on the show is only contingent upon Laura not being on the show. So Laura basically was trying to say, like, you see how producers would try to make me think it's her, and then look at the examples they're using. That sounds about right. So we'll see how that goes, right? And like she said, once again, I never got the opportunity to address Shawnee, and that's what I was there for, and yada yada yada. I want to say something about this, right? Because I've seen the same thing with Kirk and Rashida, and I honestly am on the side of Shawnee and Rashida when it comes to this, right? When you are the main woman in a situation, right? You're wifey, you're the queen bee, allegedly, so on and so forth, right? When your spouse cheats, right? When they go out to get, and I'm being a woman, so I'm gonna use a man. When they go out to get that dick sucked, they wasn't thinking about you. When they bust that nut, they wasn't thinking about you. When she met up with him, even if she knows about you, she wasn't thinking about you. When she bust that pussy wide open, she wasn't thinking about you. When they nutted together simultaneously, they weren't thinking about you. And everything else that they did together, that did not consist of them thinking of you. So now, when you're made aware of a situation regarding your spouse and another woman, why is everybody making it a big deal that you don't want to interact and engage with the other woman? Why would I? This bitch don't give a fuck about me, especially if I'm staying with my spouse. So let me give you guys example. I'll use once again Rashida. I saw everybody in the comments cursing Rashida out about the fact that every time Jasmine comes around, she removes herself. Yes, yes, I do, and I feel the same for Shawnee. Address you about what? And forget about the fact that Shawnee have a new husband. Let's just say Shawnee would have kept Shaq and still been married to him, right? Even if I say, what is the reason that I'm sitting down having conversation with you? You are not Beyonce. I am not Shakira, and we're not beautiful liars here, bitch. I don't want to see you, and I don't want to know you, because guess what? When you were sucking his dick and nutting with him and getting all the gifts and the perks that it came with being with him, you wasn't thinking about me. So stop now when you got caught and you see you didn't win the battle or the war. I actually did. Now you want me to be compassionate towards you and hear you out woman to woman, sister to sister, and say that I took. No, bitch, you're a peasant to me, and I'm disgusted with you because you fucked my husband. And guess what? I'm disgusted with him too, but I'm also staying with him. So I'm willing to work through some shit with him. Yes, because that's who I love and care about. I don't have to do that courtesy to the other woman. So people could stop with this whole, oh, Rashida running from Jasmine, and oh, why Shawnee don't want to talk to you about what? What you think? I want to hear the details of how you sucked his dick? I don't want to hear that because I used to suck it. So I don't need that from you. That don't make me feel better. But see, what I see bitches get on this, they get on that beautiful liar shit when they don't win. So now when I'm taking the loss and I'm in a hot seat, and it looks like that I'm going to be looked at as the villain, now I want to team up with the same woman I shitted on along with her husband to get her on my side. I'm married or I'm in a relationship with this nigga. Why the fuck would I get on your side? So I feel Shawnee. Come on set, bitch, girl, come on set and talk to you. I would never do you the courtesy of that. And that's actually a courtesy to sit down and hear your side of the story. I didn't do that shit when I was married to the nigga. What the fuck make you think I'm gonna do that now? I respect Shawnee. I don't want to see the raggedy bitch, but I want this show to continue making me money. So put her on set. Evelyn, get her. I pay bitches. Get her. Sick her. Rile her up. You think I'm getting off? You think what you think I'm coming off my chariot? What Mariah said? You think I'm coming off my chariot to throw tomatoes? Might not never. Might not never. So no, I don't need to sit down and hear the details and description of how you fuck my Ben husband. That's okay, baby. You already did it. Get on with your life and leave me the fuck alone. Because the reality of it is, you're mad he chose me. Because had he chose you, you would never be trying to have this woman to woman talk. So y'all got to cut the bullshit with that. I seen that with Rashida. Cut the bullshit. Not making it seem like bitches running from these. I'm not running from you. I don't want to be bothered with you. I'm actually disgusted that my nigga even engaged with you. But at the end of the day, he is who I love, so he is who I'm forgiving. You want me to forgive you too? Absolutely not. I'm not fucking you, and you're not my spouse. Leave me alone. So her saying she wanted to see Shawnee said, bitch, I'm at the mega church, eat a dick. So anywho, moving right along, they talk about when Evelyn, like I just said, was bringing up excerpts from the book. And she was like, she felt basically like she was being ambushed and the intention was to embarrass her. And she was like, had she been the younger her, she would have handled that differently and been on demon time. But since she's matured and she's changed and she's healing, she was like, I'm not going to take it there, right? But she was like, once again, I'm reserving all the conversation for Shawnee that I need to have for Shawnee, right? But she did say that her and Evelyn had a conversation on set where they shared some words with her letting her know, right? And what I didn't like is that she had some expectation for Evelyn, right? So it was more so like woman to woman and sister to sister. Bitch, Evelyn, I'm sorry, Laura, do you think this is Iyanla Fix Your Life? This ain't that, sis. This ain't that. So that woman to woman courtesy that you wanted, this is Basketball Wives, a cutthroat reality show, and Shawnee is the boss bitch. So you think I'm gonna give you some professional courtesy before I give her, bitch? She told me to sick you. I'm shaking on your motherfucking ass. So what do you mean? She kept saying things like, I just felt like woman to woman. She would have just, girl, this is not Iyanla Fix Your Life. Ain't no woman to woman, sister to sister. Barbara, this is Sheila. Girl, get the fuck on. We are loyal to who cut the check, which is Shawnee. Right? So I was looking like, girl, stop with that bullshit, right? And then she said she had a conversation with Evelyn that day, but according to her, she's going to address Evelyn at a later date. And she wanted to address Evelyn in current time, in real time, but Evelyn has been quote unquote ducking her because she seen her in a Whole Food store and hid behind a box, a tree of fruit, and she became bananas when she saw Laura. Laura, I'm sorry. Lolo, I like you. Lolo, I like you, but I'm gonna tell you what I think fucking happened. I think the same way you saw her, she saw you, and y'all both held it down. I do not believe Evelyn was doing no hiding. And again, I'm not saying Evelyn is the big bad wolf, but I don't believe Evelyn was doing no hiding. You know why I don't believe that? Because whether Evelyn was hiding or not, if you really want to smoke, you'd have just went and pressed her. You wouldn't have been hiding behind, because what you said was it was her and then her person and then my person and then me. So y'all both was behind people. She could also say that she was hiding too. She could also say that you were hiding too, right? There was no hiding. Bitch, you ain't want no smoke. And I already did. I ain't got nothing against you. According to Evelyn, she ain't got nothing against you. I was doing what the boss needed me to do because I needed my check, bitch. I don't give a fuck if you don't like it. You the one upset. So you should have been running down on her. The same way how she act like she didn't see you, you acted like you didn't see her. So I think you was pump faking about that, Laura. I'm sorry. But according to you, you gonna run into Evelyn and you gonna let her know that she's this whore that bounced from the NBA to the NFL to the MLB to the R&B to the MLB to the HOB to the CR. All this bullshit you claim next season, you gonna let Evelyn know. Of course you are on TV to continue getting your check, bitch. You ain't low. But I hear you, Laura. Go ahead, right? So anyway, we get into Gilbert. Girl, I did not want to hear about Gilbert. They still struggling. It's only gotten worse. Her love for her kids is more than her hate for Gilbert. So she says she fights with these demons every day. She stopped talking about her. He went back and told everybody she was fucking Vince Tamar ex-husband. Vince is not even his type. She had to ask his fiance, who she really likes, to ask him to please stop talking about her. She said Gilbert has checked out of parenting. He doesn't train the kids. They want to know what's going on. Their relationship was very volatile. All they used to do was fucking fight. She realized he was an ugly individual on the inside. Laura, low key, sometimes you give, so are you. And I don't want to say ugly, but you give dark. You give dark. You give dark. You try to say things as if you're shedding light on the situation, but sometimes the undertone of the things you're saying come across very mean and dark spirited. That's what I got. But okay, girl, I hear you. So, and that's pretty much why I feel like you're getting that from somebody else, because it's who you really are. But anywho, She don't get no. She was getting only $7,000 in child support, and she had to hustle, and she did everything but sell a prostitute to make it happen for these kids, and he kept taking her to court. And girl, to hear that they still going through this right now when he's engaged. Let me let y'all know something, right? We all have control over what happens in our lives, whether you want to believe it or not. I know folks like to pretend like they can't do something about something that's happening to them, when most times, if you are in a situation where you can't do anything, it's either A, you don't want to do anything, or it's a situation you brought on yourself, right? And those are only two options you have. So I'll give an example, right? Let's just say you got a work situation. I'll use your occupation. Let's just say you got a work situation where you're possibly, God forbid, going to get fired. What the fuck happened that they trying to fire you? It's something that you did. And if, let me use on the flip side, if you didn't do anything, then they cannot fire you. And if they do, that was by God's design for you to go and do something else that you're called to do. So when folks try to say things like, case in point, I don't know why Gilbert still hates me 900 years later, why he's still mean to me and disrespectful. Well, Laura, I think you're mean and disrespectful and evil spirited and dark, and everything you said about him, I think that's what you are. And that showed up at the end of this interview. So anyway, she just shared that she's not about money and all of the clothes and shit y'all see her with that's gifted to her, because she doesn't care about material things. She cares about being a good mom and raising her kids the best. She emphasized that everybody she has smoked with, she loves their children loves her. She has a new boyfriend. He helps a lot out financially. And Carlos asks, right? And you crafty, Laura, because Carlos asked, he was like, well, listen, I remember when me and you was on the show, the last 15, the next 15, whatever that show was, he was trying to do with her and Laura and Claudia and all them people. I mean, and Jennifer and Claudia and all them. And he was like, I remember you going through it with Gilbert back then. And that was like 8, 10, however many years ago. He was like, I know y'all been going through this for quite some time. When did things get so bad? And Laura, you never answered when it started. You only answered what's going on in the current time. And you never answer how that got started. So I was peeking at you because I see how you strategically dodged that question. Because you was like, you said some bullshit and then you went into what's taking place currently or what took place in like the last 3, 4 years. And his whole thing was, I remember this from over 10 years ago. So when did you and him go left? Right. But again, you talk so much. So I guess Carlos was like, I'm not going to ask that again. I'll just go with what she told me. And I'm looking at Carlos like, no, you need to reiterate that, because when did it go wrong? But anywho, they have children. And you know what made me sad about this, right? And I've witnessed this up close, right? It's very sad to know that the person that you make a child with can make or break you. The person that you make a child with can make or break you. So I always encourage, and I've been mindful of it too, be careful who you have children with. Be very careful and mindful who you have children with, because you don't know who those people will become, and you also don't know who you will become. And that could really either break you or make you when it comes to that situation, right? Another thing too was that Laura was able to talk about a lot of emotional moments with no emotion. And Pookie said this to me the other day, and he may be right. So I thought about this when he said it. He said, Khadijah, not all the time emotions means tears. Emotion could mean I'm happy. That is an emotion. It doesn't have, the end result doesn't have to be tears because of my happiness. So I was like, I remember a few times her saying she was going to get misty eyed, but she never got it. So maybe she's the type of person that Pookie would describe it to me, because that's who he is that pretty much you can have an emotion without it physically manifesting. I guess I found that hard to believe, because all of my fucking emotions physically manifest. But I got what he was saying, right? Then this part right here was the fucking, this broke the mold. And this was the nail in the coffin to kind of confirm how dark I feel Laura is, right? So then Drea enters the chat. Now, apparently, Drea is a topic of conversation for Gilbert as well. I didn't notice because I watch absolutely nothing Gilbert Arenas. So I can't tell you what Gilbert is saying or doing on his podcast or anything else because really and truly, what the fuck I need to know about Gilbert Arenas no more. He was into sports, whatever he was playing. I didn't watch. I don't watch sports much. I'm not watching the sports podcast. He's looks I don't know. So I just was like, okay. But anywho, he speaks about Drea often as well, which I find to be very sad. I find to be very sad. If you are a man that dealt with her romantically or sexually, why is that the world's business? But that's bitch and hoe shit. But anywho, um, when I think she said that her and Gilbert was on like a fake breakup, but it was kind of like fake. And he told her he had a Philly bitch that sucked his dick in the car. Right. And she said, that's cool. You did you. We was fake broken up. I quote unquote did me, yada yada yada. They never talked about with who. It was just, this what happened and boom, let's move on. So when they decided to move on, Drea was introduced on Basketball Wives as Gloria's friend. And Laura was like, I liked her from the beginning. She was cool. She didn't know anything about her being the person that Gilbert messed with. Right. So she said one time she was going through some paperwork that Gilbert left around. And she saw that he had been saying, sending Drea money and sending her out. I mean, flying her out. I'm sorry, sending her money and flying her out. So he sent the $25,000 and flew her out to LA. So she said when she saw this, she said, "Oh, this was going on behind my back." She went wherever Drea was filming, and according to Laura, she picked Drea up by the collarbone and the coochie and flung her across the room and spit on her. And every time she saw Drea at Future events, Drea was running from her, and she respects how Drea has made a whole being a whole into a lifestyle. And once again, you know what I felt like? I felt like the person that you have the issue with Drea over, which is Gilbert, treats your ass like shit. So the nerve of you to come up here and speak so bad about a person who potentially could have taken the worst motherfucker in your life off your hands if she really wanted to. Also, if you're really over him and over it, why did you go into detail with saying such nasty things about that girl? The only thing you should have said was, me and Drea, we did cross paths with the same guy, my ex. And I wasn't happy with her when I found out that it happened. But you know what? She has moved on. I'm not with my ex no more. So that's water under the bridge. Going into detail saying you grabbed her by the pussy, grabbed her by the collarbone, flung her across the room. Laura, once again, it also proves my narrative that you're dark and you're nasty and you're mean, which is why you get that energy from Gilbert. It's because you what you put off. And that's probably why you don't get along with your sister, because of the nasty, mean, and dark bitch that you are. Because there was no reason to say those things about Drea. That was nasty. That was absolutely fucking nasty. Really, really nasty. Dragging Drea, saying how she made being a hoe a lifestyle, and how she swindled the young, like that girl. I was just looking at the fucking, I was like, girl, but then you want to sit up here and act like you're trying to do so well because everything negative you were saying about people, but I love their kids. And no, baby, you're broken. You're broken. And Gilbert is continuing to break you because you also continue to break other people. So no, I don't feel sorry for you. But anywho, she did say she did have some support from four main people, which was Tori Hart, Kevin Hart's ex-wife, Lorna Carr, which is Cedric the Entertainer wife, a person named Marie, who was a personal friend, and Jamie Foxx. Right. And she talked about her physical journey. She said she's had a mommy makeover. She's done some health and wellness. She's never had Ozempic. And pretty much what's next for her is that she's with the man who's helping her take care of her kids because according to her, Gilbert does not do enough and he's not there enough. I don't know. I don't follow Gilbert. I don't know if this is the truth. You do give me mean, evil, and vindictive, and so does he. So birds of a feather flock together. She's teaching her children how to hustle and make money because money makes the world go round. And what she also said was she would definitely be returning to Basketball Wives. And when she returns, she's going to give Evelyn a piece of her mind and she's going to link with Shawnee. Laura, I promise you, we gonna make you stand on that shit. I promise you. So don't try to, cause see what you did. You did a lot of backpedaling and pussy popping in this interview too. So you did the whole, oh yeah, I would have did such and such, but I'm a changed woman. You talked a lot of cash money shit on this fucking interview. So I don't want you to get there next season and they play the interview back and then you start doing what you did tonight, which was I would do this if it was the old me, but I changed. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're a punk ass bitch. And we not letting you getting up out of this, baby. So you better stand on it. You better stand in it. You better stand on it. You better A-Town stomp on it. Because I promise I'm going to report it. I'm going to report it. I'm going to go live and do video after video after video because this interview was nasty. This interview was nasty and it showed how dark you can be. You was dark towards your family. You was dark towards the man who fathered your children. And you was dark towards bitches from your past that you shouldn't even be worried about no more. You had nothing positive to say on here other than you love your kids and you love other people's kids. Are you serious? I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I did not like it. I did not like it. I did not like it. But you know what? You reap what you sow, and that's why Gilbert is dragging you by that half up, half down that you have right now in the pleather fucking pants. So you let me know how it works out for you, ladies and gentlemen. What did you think of the interview? Did you watch the interview? Do you want me to drop the link in the chat so you can watch it and we can have some more dialogue about it? In any event, we are praying for healing for Laura and that she gets her Operation Heal 100 Heart sessions because she needs it. You guys enjoy your night and thank you for tuning in. Bye bye.